Garvin High School cafeteria shooting left 6 students dead and countless others wounded. Valerie Lethman was the last victim shot before Nick Level reportedly turned the gun on himself. Reports by witnesses at the scene vary. Some saying Lethman is a hero, others saying she's the victim, while others still alleging she was in a plan with Level to shoot and kill students whom they disliked. Whether Lethman's wounds were accidental or intentional, there is little doubt in the minds of police that Nick Level planned to commit suicide after massacring nearly half a dozen Garvin High School students. After he shot Lethman, he turned the gun on himself and pulled the trigger. He was pronounced dead at the scene. News reports like these have become all too familiar. But how would you feel if Nick, the boy you've dated for years, ended up murdering your peers? Would you still love him? Would you be devastated? You may not have pulled the trigger, but you helped cause a tragedy. Hate List by Jennifer Brown. As I ignored the third snooze alarm, my mom started pounding on my door, trying to get me out of bed. Valerie, you have to get up now. The school's being very lenient letting you back in. Don't blow your first day back. The school couldn't decide if I was a hero or a villain. And I guess neither could I. Was I the villain who set the plan into motion to mow down half her school? Or was I the hero who sacrificed herself to end the killings? Some days I felt like both, and others I felt like neither. It was just all so complicated. It's certainly not like I wanted to be a hero. I wasn't thinking, here's my chance to save the girl who used to laugh at me and call me Sister Death and get myself shot in the process. By all means, it was a heroic thing for me to do. But in my case, well, no one was really sure. Oh my God, the list. He's picking people off who are on the hate list. Nick started to raise his gun. Jessica held her hands over her face, and she crouched lower and lower against the wall. I was never going to make it in time. Nick! He turned towards me, still holding the gun up in front of him. He was smiling. If there's one thing I remember most about Nick Level in my lifetime, it'd be the smile he had on his face when he turned around. It was an inhuman sort of smile. Don't! Stop it! Stop! He looked at me like I didn't understand. Like I was the one with the problem or something. Don't you remember the plan? I couldn't remember anything about any sort of plan. He shook his head. Like I was so ditzy for forgetting the supposed plan. I lunged for him this time. My only thought being I could not watch Jessica Campbell die right in front of me. I heard another one of those cracks. Nick looked at the gun and to me with a much more serious look on his face. And there was blood pulsing from my thigh, really thick and red. And I went to say something to him, but I don't remember what. He looked at the gun and back at me, and his eyes were all glazed over. And I saw this gray fuzz appearing behind my eyes, and everything was getting lighter and lighter. Or maybe it was just heavier and heavier, and everything just went black. Jessica Campbell was holding her lunch tray. Her tray rattled against the linoleum as she struggled out of her backpack. Hi, Mr. Angerson, she said brightly. Sorry I'm late, Valerie. Jessica, he said one of those statements that sounds like a question. What are you doing? She shook her milk carton, opened it. Having lunch with Valerie. We had some student council stuff to talk about, and it's just so noisy in there. We could hardly hear ourselves think. He looked like he wanted to punch a hole in something, but he stood for a minute and waited, then pretended like he saw something alarming going on in the comments and scurried to go break it up. What are you doing? Having lunch, she said while taking a bite of her pizza. Why? God, Valerie, what's your problem? For a second, I could almost see the old Jessica shining through, which made what I had to do next so much easier. This school is my problem. I just want to be left alone. Why can't you understand that? God, Valerie, when are you going to get over that whole I'm not one of you thing? I thought we were friends. No, you're wrong. We are not friends. Nick couldn't stand your little crowd, and neither can I. In case you haven't noticed, Valerie, Nick is dead, so it doesn't matter what he thinks anymore. And for the record, I don't think it ever did, except for a few minutes in May. But I thought you were better. You saved my life, remember? Don't you get it? I didn't mean to save you. I just wanted him to stop shooting. You could have been anyone. I don't believe you. I don't. Well, believe it because it's true. Just as I was about to reach the double doors, Jessica's voice rang out behind me. Do you think this has been easy for me? I stopped, turned. She was still standing where I left her. Well, it's not. I still have nightmares. I still hear gunshots. I see Nick's face every time I look at you. I didn't like you before. I can't help that. But at least I'm trying. I've had to fight my parents. I've had to fight to include you. But at least I'm trying. No one told you to try. You're wrong. May 2nd told me I lived, and that made everything different. You're crazy. And you're selfish. If you walk away from me now, you're just plain selfish. The only thing I could think about was getting out of there, whether that made me selfish or not. I plunged through the double doors and into the open air. Even though I've never been to Nick's grave, I knew exactly where it was. For one, it had been on the news about every 10 seconds for the first 2 months after the shooting. And for another, I heard enough people talking about it to get a pretty good idea. Nick's grave and what goes around it. Did the sun ever shine in the eternal resting place of someone you once loved? I doubted it. The overcast sky was playing gray shadows across the words, but still I could read them. Nicholas Anthony Level, 1990 through 2008, beloved son. I traced his name with my finger, and then again, and then again. I don't hate you. I don't. I stared until my eyes began to water, and my toes felt numb from the cold. But at last, I finally stood up. I was walking away shivering, and I didn't look back, even though I knew I would never again go and visit his grave.